All Things Saine with Representative Saine.
Oh yeah, welcome back to All Things Saine. We're broadcasting today from the North Carolina Legislative Building, specifically from 1326, my office. Joining with me today, I've got Representative Ray Pickett of Watauga, Ashe County, and you've got another county too, don't you?
Allegheny as well.
Allegheny as well. So he's got a little bigger district geographically than your host has. But we are back in Raleigh today. We're going to have, I'm sure, a quick hour. A couple things Ray and I are going to talk about. Representative Pickett and I are going to talk about is what is happening today at the legislature. Why are we here? I think it'll be a historical day.
I think it will.
We just walked out of caucus, the Republican House caucus, and we were previewing what looks to be a very busy day today. I think we go into session about 4 this afternoon, somewhere around there, and which you can watch live on YouTube. In case your cable's not working or you're just really bored, but you can watch live. It will be pretty historical. As I look at the calendar, we're find this calendar at ncleg.gov. But Ray, looks like we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bills that are ready for override.
Yeah, we do. It looks like it would be another historical day. We've done it one time this year, and I think it's some good policy that I think we need to go ahead and get moving.
Well, we're going to do that. I mean, the governor last week was encouraging us to come back to work, and
yes,
so I'm going to take his advice today. I'm back. Ready to go to work, and we'll do that in short order. Ongoing has been the budget talks. As many of you know, we talk about it or have talked about it at least every week we've been on the air. Budgets in North Carolina, because of a little bill that was passed back in 2016. We continue government. Government has continuity here in North Carolina. It's not like Washington, D.C., where everything shuts down, where we're at a standstill. No, that doesn't happen. We continue on with the previous year's budget. So things are funded, things are going on. It's just really the new funding, special projects, new initiatives from state government that are on hold right now. July 1 was our normal deadline. Like many legislatures before us, we didn't make that deadline.
No,
it's a very big budget, and there's a lot of things that are discussed. And Ray, you've got a lot of big ticket items that you oversee because you oversee our university system in your role.
Yes, I do. And when you're talking about the budget, and I know we would love to have it done by July 1, but to me, it's better to get it done right than it is to get it done quick, to make sure that we got the projects that need to be done, the state funding that needs to be there is put in the right places and does the right things for what we need.
Yeah, that's right. These are serious things that we decide for our state. And so having a serious discussion and look, ironing out differences. There were vast differences between the House and the Senate budget and also from the governor's budget. So these things don't resolve just overnight, but we have been working hard, even when we've not been here in Raleigh. Turns out you can have virtual meetings. We learned that during the pandemic since our governor shut down every business in North Carolina at the time. We found new ways to do business. We do the same thing, just like you're seeing us today. We are working here, but we've done remote broadcasts. You joined me in Orlando when we were at ALEC and wanted to communicate any way that we can and be as transparent as possible. On the rides today, we've got charter school omnibus bill. That's on the docket. We've got a code council reorganization and various code amendments. I don't pick the names, by the way. We could probably come up with something a little more creative than those. Fairness in Women's Sports Act. That's dudes playing in women's sports. That's I don't know, kind of been a hot topic in the nation and quite frankly here in North Carolina for a while. So that's on there as well. The governor had vetoed that. Keep in mind, when he vetoes it means he doesn't agree with it. And so we have a difference of opinion, and we'll get our way at the end of the day today. We also have Charter School Review Board, a bill that he vetoed, as well as another bill dealing with gender transition and minors. So these 5 items are on the docket. Big day. Also big day on the show. You and I are going to be joined here in a bit. Since you're my university guy, we've got the new head coach of UNC Charlotte, Biff Poggi. And if you haven't watched this guy, he is amazing. He is kind of an old school smash mouth football coach. When you think about football coaches, this is my guy. And we've got to know him over the last several months. Just a super human being, despite football. It really invests a lot of time and energy in the personal life of the kids that he coaches. And he's just got a great story. we'll pick his brain a little bit. I think he'll be on around at 11:30. So, but we'll discuss too everything that's going to go on here today. Our colleagues, like I said, we mercifully got to walk out of caucus as they're still discussing what the day is going to look like. And if you don't know what caucus is, that's when the members of the one party or the other get together and sort out what it is that they're going to do either for the day, for the week. We got an update on the budget from the speaker, kind of how those things are going. Those budget negotiations are going between the House and Senate, between the leaders of those both respective chambers. But again, you're listening to All Things Saine. We really appreciate the fact that you can watch, the fact that you can listen here on WSIC. This is I think I heard Justin this morning say this is our third remote for this show. So we're testing out the technology. It's kind of apropos. I'm a tech guy. So we get to push the limit here, but it seems to be working so far. The only thing you'll notice is Ray and I are in the same camera shot. I haven't got the multi-camera system set up here in the office.
Come on, IT guy.
Well, I got to have time to do it, right? Ray, you represent kind of the mountain areas, Appalachian. We're going to talk football later.
Yes.
Appalachian's a big football school.
Yes, it is.
Big games coming up.
Very big game.
What else? Who is App playing this year?
Well, the first big one is going to be East Carolina University's coming to Boone.
Yeah,
that's going to be a big one. We sort of have a little bit of rivalry going on with East Carolina. We played them down in Charlotte, and now they're coming up to Boone. I have lots of friends from East Carolina. My sister actually graduated from East Carolina. So it's going to be a lot of fun to have them come up and continue this rivalry that's only good for the state. People come into there and spend a lot of money in the area wherever they're going. So it's a big economic impact.
It is a big economic impact. And people from outside the state come. The last big game I was at Appalachian was when Carolina last year was playing. And in Boone, and I don't think there was an empty seat in the place. No,
we added extra seats,
and probably will do the same this year. I imagine for ECU because it will be ECU has a loyal following, and they will traverse the state and make their way up the mountains for sure to see that game.
Yes,
and that's going to be fun. Any other big games that are at home?
Not at home. We are having a big away game. We're actually going out to play University of Wyoming.
All right, yeah.
I'm going to travel out with the team, and I think that's going to be a great time.
That's awesome. Well, UNC Charlotte, and we'll let the coach talk about it, but he's a Baltimore guy, and they're playing Maryland this year. So that was on the schedule already, and so he gets to go back to where he knows a lot of folks and kind of the hometown and see what happens when we take on Maryland. Yeah. UNC Charlotte, this is a new coach, and had some changes. Wasn't having a great record at the time. Brought in this new coach, and actually did incredible job with the portal. We hear about the portal where these athletes are able to then have a lot more freedom and change schools. And I think it was 52 new members of the team in Charlotte.
Wow, that's a lot.
Huge. So it's not the team from last year. There's a lot of same guys for sure, but it's a whole different scheme, whole different coaching staff. My son and I had the opportunity to go down on the field Sunday a week ago at practice and just kind of watch and see how they interacted, all the energy. It's going to be fun, but I know you and I both love football season, and App never disappoints. It's a great football town.
It is. We have a great time, and I look forward to getting App State and UNC Charlotte into a back and forth matchup. I think that would be outstanding for the two schools to get that going.
Well, there's a lot of rumors floating around about realignment.
There is.
And so who knows? Maybe one day they can end up in the same conference, which would be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
maybe we get ECU, App, and UNC Charlotte in the same conference.
Yes,
that'd be huge.
Would be great.
Well, you are listening to All Things Saine. We are broadcasting live from the Legislative Building here in Raleigh on a very historical veto day. We will be back here in just a moment after the break. Tell you a little bit more about what's happening here in Raleigh. Thanks for listening to All Things Saine.
Keep it right here. All Things Saine with
Good
NC
work.
Representative Jason Saine will return
I'm
after this
going to
short
leave
break
these
on the new
commercials up. You can still hear me okay?
100.7 WSIC.
Yep, I've got you in my,
Here is your WSIC
All right, cool deal.
community calendar. Asheville native Kanan Cox is performing Friday, August 25th
just
at
know,
King Center for the Arts. Get your tickets while they last.
You guys are talking.
Show
they can
starts
probably
at
hear
8
you over
p.m.
the Facebook right now.
Visit canearts.org.
Okay, great. Thank you.
That's
Is that all right? They can't see you, but they can hear you.
.org.
They can hear us.
Want to showcase your music skills? Richard's Coffee Shop and Military Museum in downtown Mooresville has their music jam sessions every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to noon. Richard's Coffee Shop, located in downtown Mooresville. For more info, visit welcomevets.com. Ever dreamed of seeing Freddie Mercury and Queen live? Absolute Queen, a Queen tribute, will be playing at Boatyard Eats in Cornelius Friday, August 18th. Tickets are $20 online. Enjoy live music and at a fun venue. Absolute Queen, Friday night at Boatyard Eats in Cornelius. To buy tickets, visit boatyardlkn.com. Ever wonder what Mooresville was like in 1873? The historic downtown walking tour is a self-guided tour that will take you on a stroll through Mooresville's past to learn about the history of the town. Featuring 18 stops, the tour begins
about a minute
ends
and
at the
30
corner of Main Street and Center Avenue. It should take 1 hour to complete. For more info, visit downtownmooresville.com. What would it be like to play glow stick bingo? Come check out the Bingo Glow Party at the Statesville Civic Center. Tuesday, August 22nd, doors open at 6 p.m. All games will be played under blacklight. Glow stick bingo at the Statesville Civic Center. For more info, visit civiccenter.statesvillenc.net. Have an event you'd like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
I'm Holly Vale with your WSIC forecast. Mostly sunny today with a high near 86. Partly cloudy this evening with a low around 66. Thursday looks sunny with a high near 88. And Thursday night looks mostly clear with a low around 66. Friday will be sunny with a high
little
near
under
88,
30 seconds.
and mostly clear for Friday night with a low around 65. Sunny for Saturday and 87
Back
degrees.
live
I'm
on the
Holly
mic.
Vale from WSIC's Weather Center.
15 seconds.
Be a part of the conversation.
I listen on the way to work.
Have your say.
It's more than just opinions. It's facts.
This is WSIC News Talk.
Here comes
Now.
the music.
And welcome back. You are watching and listening to All Things Saine, depending on which medium you're reaching us. We do this as a podcast too. So after the show, you can always go back and use whatever you use: Apple Podcasts, Spotify. I think Justin and Bill and everybody at the station, they've done all the technical work on the back end, so you can get it about anywhere you get a podcast. I think you could probably get it, which is pretty cool. I get a lot of people say that they can't watch it during the day when we broadcast, but they go back and listen to the podcast. So we see that on the downloads too. So that's pretty cool. It is a great opportunity. I'm Representative Jason Saine, your host. Great opportunity to talk with you and go face to face each week so that we can talk about what's going on in Raleigh. It does impact your life, whether you know it or not. We work on a lot of things. I've got with me Representative Ray Pickett. He represents, I'll say Allegheny first, Ashe and Watauga counties. You live in Watauga.
Yes.
And you were you were a city councilman. Is that correct?
I was town of Blowing Rock, and my wife currently is a city council member in Blowing Rock.
Keeping it in the family.
That's right.
Well, that's awesome. My mother was a county commissioner, and there's nothing like serving on a local board like that, because you really are face to face with every decision you make. You're face to face with your constituents every day. You go to the grocery store, you go to get gas.
You're very close.
You're very close, and you get to hear it. And sometimes
Yes,
you don't get to enjoy lunch, but
That's right.
It's okay. It's part of the job.
It is.
Right? It's part of the job. My wife was always amazed at people's concept of, hey, do you have just a minute? And people's concept of a minute. But
Yes.
hey, the food's cold. It's okay. It is fun though to get out and talk with constituents. You get immediate affirmation or disapproval if
Yes.
something you've done that they don't like. People aren't bashful, and I know you do. I do too. Appreciate just the feedback to know that people pay attention.
Yes. That's important.
Doesn't we're human beings. We're not perfect. We're not going to get right every time, but getting the feedback. And I know with the bills that we're going to override today, or override the veto, say that the right way. We've got a lot of feedback on those bills.
Yes.
Some of the hottest issues of our day.
Yes.
when you think about the gender stuff that's going on in sports, quite frankly, when I first came to the legislature, I never imagined that we'd even be considering such legislation, that it was even needed.
Thought about it.
Yeah, never thought about it. And it's certainly something I didn't run on. I don't think you ran on these issues, but these are the things that come our way. You know, serving in the legislature takes a lot of time. I don't think people realize the time back and forth that you spend away from home. You like me, I think when you came up the first year, you were sort of camping out, weren't you?
Yeah, I had an RV and stayed in it, and it worked out wonderful. But I've moved into town now.
And after a while, when you've got to haul everything you got forward and backwards each week, it gets a little old.
Yes, it does.
But we spend a lot of time here at the legislature. It is August. You know, we started in January. You know, kind of took a couple of months to really get started, but we're here every week. And, you know, for the governor to say that the legislature needs to get back to work, just kind of, you know, more political grandstanding, but
we've
been working for a long time. And so with that in mind, though, the time commitment is important for people to understand. It's not something that you can just walk away from. People have issues that pop up literally overnight sometimes. With state government, and they need their legislator to help them. So I know you do a lot of that. You've got good staff too. I know you've got people who work for you that are young people. They're really smart. You've had good fortune of having some great people work for you.
Yes, Joseph Fairkukas has done a great job for me. If it wasn't for them, we couldn't do what we do.
Yeah,
it's the communication back and forth. We would never be able to do it between committee meetings, session. They really help of going through our communications and seeing which ones are priorities. He comes in my office every morning when I get in and comes in with a list of, okay, here's what I've done. I think we need to take care of this, this, and this. This person needs this help. And we try to prioritize what we've got to do that day. Most important things, of course, we get those done first.
Yeah, no, that's right. It is just the email alone, the volume of email.
Yes.
You know, every once in a while, we'll all miss it here in my office, right? Because we'll get, you know, flooded all of a sudden from an hour-long period of emails. And an unfortunate part about that is, because I mean, it's great that people can, you know, send those things to you, but when you get them in bulk, sometimes you actually miss a real constituent issue.
Yes.
We do a very good job, and the people that are working behind us trying to track that, make sure that we get to respond to everyone as quickly as we can. And try to help them with their issue. But I'll just tell you, you know, if you're one of my constituents and we miss something, we are human. We call you and tell you we missed it, and then we take care of it as quickly as we can. Generally don't, but you know, it's
there's also a lot of stuff that comes through that's junk.
Right.
You know, junk mail still gets through to us too, and you have to weed through that as well and try to make sure you don't miss your constituents.
Yeah, you think your inbox at home is full of spam? You should come see the legislators, because our email addresses get published on a lot of things, and the little bots pick it up, and we end up with so much junk that we have to sort through. Our IT staff does a good job too about trying to identify that and eliminating it before it ever gets to our inbox. But they never rest. The spammers are very active.
Yes, they are,
and we get to see a lot of that. We're going to have on the show at 11:30. Coach Biff Poggi is from UNC Charlotte is going to be calling in. I think he's been out on the field. You know, it's they've been practicing hard.
Yes.
I was there Monday morning watching a scrimmage. You know, I'm a huge football fan and a huge fan of UNC Charlotte. That's my alma mater. And it was great. Just Chancellor was down there, athletic director was down there, just watching them and, you know, execute plays and watching the offense and the defense. Watch the coach, you know, do what coaches do. You know, encouraging, but also, you know, fussing because, you know, one little thing wasn't executed correctly, and they want perfection. And you know, we want it here. We want to do as best we can.
We do.
So as things pop up in your life, whether you're listening in Ray's district or listening in mine or elsewhere, contact your legislator. They a lot of times can help, and on different things, particularly with state issues. But also we help direct traffic sometimes. I send a lot of things to Senator Burr's office and to, well, not Senator Burr anymore, but since he's retired, but Senator Tillis, you know, our legislative delegation, Senator Budd. Representative McHenry is my representative. You have Representative Virginia Fox.
Yes.
So we do a lot of interfacing with our federal counterparts, and then vice versa too with our local folks. Since you come from a local background, you kind of know immediately what is in your purview and what is in the local city council or county commission purview.
That's right, and encourage them to communicate with us. Don't think because we went to Raleigh that you can't communicate with us.
Right.
We don't know what your issues are if you don't communicate with us. And those town managers and councils, they have to communicate with us. We can help them, but they just let us know.
That's right, and do our best. I've got a meeting on Friday with the mayor of Charlotte. Not my constituent, but I'm a Charlotte area guy. My district bumps up against Mecklenburg County. So it's not even restricted just to our districts.
No.
You and I entertain people from all across the state when they call and want to gain a meeting with us and talk with us. We certainly do that too. So it's we have a wonderful state. It's very diverse. You and I are on 321 together. We're not that far apart.
No.
I go up and have lunch with Ray, and it's just a quick trip. Plus, I love going, especially when it's hot like it is.
Yes,
If
good place to be.
If I can shave off a few degrees of temperature, I'll go up the mountain. But really, just from you get by working with the university systems, you really get to see it all. You go from the mountains to the coast and elsewhere and in between.
Yeah, weeks ago, I was in Greenville at East Carolina for a joint collaboration with dental school with UNC Pembroke to have an assurance between Pembroke and East Carolina's dental school to have them have an assured spot from there. So two schools collaborating and getting a chance to visit with both chancellors and see how they're working to make everything in our state better, to make our rural dentistry better, because they concentrate on getting students into that school and back into a rural districts in North Carolina. They're not sending them off somewhere else.
Well, that's a great point. We can all be critical, especially as conservatives, of the university systems. Sometimes what we see in headlines, that's what makes it to the news. But what doesn't happen is it doesn't necessarily get talked about a lot. It's a lot of the good things that are going on behind the scenes. I know the chancellor at ECU and at Pembroke are very in tune with realizing that there's a rural healthcare crisis. Just getting things like dentistry out to people in places that are a little harder to reach. That maybe haven't been, at the advantage of having a critical mass of people because it is rural. And so they don't end up with, a lot of doctors and a lot of dentists and a lot of healthcare choices. One of the things that working with the chancellor at UNC Pembroke just a couple of years ago during the pandemic, we started with mobile trailers delivering healthcare from the university, clinics and things of that nature, and just doing it. It's basically a mobile healthcare unit on a tractor trailer, and they just drop it into the communities, which is a great way to do it. If it's not there, bring it to it. Right?
They also have mobile RVs at UNC Pembroke that they can just drive around. It expands out just like a motorhome. They got exam rooms in there, and they can go help people that just don't have access to healthcare.
Well, if the issue is it's not in your area, bring it to your area. And so we're doing a lot of that as we look and fund some of the things that are really important in the state. That is incredibly important.
Yes.
And so we as we look at the rural areas,
50
and how
seconds.
we can improve, that is huge for us. And you represent a very rural area. I've got a good mix. I mean, you've got towns certainly that aren't rural. But then you don't have to go too far out of town to get pretty rural very quickly.
Very quick.
Yeah. So, nor me, I have a dairy farm in my backyard. So,
30 seconds.
You are listening to All Things Saine. I've got my partner here, Representative Ray Pickett. He represents Allegheny, Ashe, and Watauga County. Just having a chat today on All Things Saine. Up next, after the break, we're going to have Coach
15
Biff Poggi, the UNC Charlotte head coach. Really appreciate you listening and watching today here on All Things Saine.
More of All Things Saine with NC Representative Jason Saine is coming up on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Local and North Carolina news now on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC. News Talk Now.
I'm Mike Jackson, WSIC News. WSOC TV reporting that some parents in Huntersville are without a place to take their kids during the day after a daycare facility abruptly closed their doors for good. Kid Time Drop Child Care had a sign posted on their front door on Monday stating that they were closed for good and parents wouldn't be getting their money back. Many parents who prepaid for care are considering suing. And WNCN reporting that a Durham woman died when a tree fell on her car Tuesday as
just a heads up, coach is on the line.
The city, police said. The incident was reported around 4:30 p.m.
I told him that we would, whenever we get back from break, I will unmute him
according to
or
a news
release him
release
from the
from the
land of
Durham
hold.
Police
And,
Department. The woman was
you guys
heading
can
north in
get
a
after it.
2023 BMW X3 on Anderson Street, police said. Now sports with Joe Berg.
Lionel Messi and Inter Miami beat the Philadelphia Union last night to advance to the League's Cup final. And yesterday, the NBA released the schedule for the first ever in-season tournament.
WSIC weather, sunshine, warm temperatures today with a high of 86. Partly cloudy overnight, the low 65, then sunshine returns Thursday all the way through the weekend. Mike Jackson, WSIC News.
Hey folks, Ryan Scott here, Randy Marion Chevrolet Statesville. Let me tell you about the summer sales event going on. I tell you, Silverados, Colorados, we have got them discounted during this event. It is hot outside. The deals are even hotter at the Chevrolet store in Statesville. If you haven't seen the new Colorado, folks, you owe it to yourself. Come check that truck out. Take it home today. Come see the Silverado, whether it's a crew cab, double cab, regular cab, we got them in stock. Four-wheel drive, two-wheel drive, pick the trim, take it home today. Your dealer is Randy Marion Chevrolet in Statesville, right on I-40.
Black Powder Coffee is celebrating their 10th anniversary with a medium dark roast blend of Indonesian and South American coffee beans. Enjoy the full-bodied natural flavor notes of chocolate with a bright finish. Get Black Powder Coffee's new anniversary blend today at Black Powder Coffee, 261 Rolling Hill Road, Mooresville, or participating retailers everywhere. Black Powder Coffee.
Hi, this is Andy with Lake Mountain Coffee located at 110 West Broad Street in Statesville. Did you know we also own and operate Statesville's first coffee roasting facility? We roast coffee beans for businesses, fundraising events, special occasions such as a wedding. We can even put a custom message on the back of your bags. If you're a company or simply someone with a coffee need, give us a call at 704-252-1886. And remember, if you want fresh, you must go local.
It's always great to have the right tools and supplies when working outside. Little Shavers Woodshop is ready to help. Little Shavers has all your wood, treated lumber, wood fencing, and all the treatment items to keep them looking great. BBG paints and stains, and add in some pine needles and Daddy Pete's mulch and soils, and your landscaping will be the best around. Head on over to Little Shavers, 3301 Salisbury Highway, right in between Statesville, Morrisville, and Moxville. Visit littleshaverswoodshop.com. That's LILshaverswoodshop.com.
Hello, friends. This is Dwight with Gullion's Christian Supply and Homeschool Headquarters, inviting you to join the Gullion family and staff in praising the Lord for 30 years of providing you with trustworthy and inspiring books, Bibles, music, gifts, and supplies. We so appreciate your support and friendship over all these years. With locations in King and Statesville, North Carolina, visit us again soon for encouraging fellowship and essential provisions for your Christian life. Gullion's Christian Supply and Homeschool Headquarters,
45 seconds.
where the Bible stands.
In life, we plan for many important things. Weddings, our children's education, retirement. A celebration of life is really no different. Planning and paying for your life celebration in advance will give you and your family valuable peace of mind. We'll help you take care of every detail with professionalism and compassion. We're Lynn Honeycutt Funeral Home. Find us at DignityMemorial.com.
Conversations that matter.
I gotta tell you, I'm afraid to even think about the next presidential election.
Led by you.
It's a mockery of American politics.
This is WSIC News Talk Now.
And welcome back to All Things Saine. Want to thank my colleague, Representative Ray Pickett, who represents Watauga, Ashe, Allegheny counties, stopping in. We had just walked out of caucus a few minutes ago and had the opportunity to get him on and catch up just a little bit. He's a good friend, and we spent a lot of time together up here at the legislature. Our districts aren't too far apart, and he'll come down to Lincolnton, and I'll go up to Boone and Blowing Rock and have lunch with him every now and then. And when we're not in session, but we are in session, today's going to be another historical day, one for the record books. We've got several, actually 5 bills where the governor has vetoed those bills, and we're going to vote to override those later today. So stay tuned for that. That'll be broadcast on YouTube television, or not YouTube television, but on YouTube. You can catch it there. But we'll have a full day for sure. Joining me, if we've got our technology correct, I've got on the phone a good friend, someone who I hadn't known a long time. But when you meet someone and you just immediately connect and you like this guy, I've got the head coach of UNC Charlotte football, Biff Poggi, is on the line. Coach, how are you, sir?
How are you, my friend? Good to be with you.
Well, I'm great. Other than it's hot, I'm in a suit and we're in Raleigh. But I bet you've been a little warm this morning too. How did practice go?
It was really good. It was a good day today, Jason. We very spirited, and they practice hard, and they want to be good, and that is 99% of the battle right there.
Well, I teased you're coming on the show. I had a good friend of mine, Representative Pickett, who oversees a lot of what happens in the university system, his role in the House, among many roles that he has, but that's one of them. We were talking about some of the games that are coming up. He's an Appalachian guy because that's where he represents. He's got Watauga County. They've got a big game coming up with ECU, but you've got some pretty big names on the calendar that are coming up, and you're preparing for those. Preview a little bit for me. What do you have? Who's the season opener, and what are the big games?
So we play at home. We open at home against South Carolina State, who has a very good program, a lot of great players, and they're really well coached. A new coach on defense, but really well coached. And then we go to the University of Maryland and play. That game will be on national TV on NBC. It's the feature Big Ten game at 7:30. And obviously Maryland's a Big Ten East team, and very, very talented, and very well coached. And that's my stomping grounds up there, where I'm kind of from. I'm from Maryland, so that'll be a really tough test. And then we come back and we play Georgia State at home, another really, really good football team that is solid and well coached, and a lot of good, tough kids. And then the fourth game, we go to Florida to play in Gainesville at night in the swamp, and that's how we started off.
Wow. Well, that's a lot to chew right out of the gate with the Gators and with Maryland. That's huge. That's huge. You're getting a lot of recognition. I know you love press conferences and taking questions. And you had a great interaction on the media day. I know they just bombarded you with so many questions. I think you were impressed with just how many questions they had for Charlotte.
Yeah, I was really happy. I mean, they just really just wanted to ask me a bunch of things, 3 questions. So, and that kind of, here's how I took that, Jason, and you and I agree completely what you said in the intro. You just know guys that you feel like you've known forever, and like, I feel like you and I would have been buddies like growing up, in the same neighborhood, right? And just lifelong friends. But you'll know this when I say this to you, like, I didn't take that personally from me. I took that as an effrontery to our players, and if you're going to do that, you're going to get my wrath, and whether you like it or not. And my job is to love and protect our players. And geez, even if you think we're going to stink, right? Which obviously you do. These guys did think that we're going to stink. Have at least enough class to not make it so obvious, right?
Right. No, that's right. I mean, there, you know, what you know, my mom would say growing up. You know, there's something to be said for just being nice. Not that you're asking for them to go easy on you, but you know, have a little respect for anybody you meet, and meet them where they're at. And I think you're right. I think that was lost. I mean, maybe it's you know, just you know, a part of our culture today, but it doesn't have to be. And that's not your culture with those boys that are playing for you. I've been down on the field with you. I see how you interact with these guys on and off the field, which I think is a bigger tribute to what you're doing than just the football game that will be played. Yeah, sure, you're the head coach, but you're really helping mentor these young men in their life, not just in football, but past football. You take a lot of time and invest in them personally, and that's very obvious. And you don't see that a lot in a lot of different programs across the nation. Mainly they're players and their numbers, and they're nobody's investing in them personally, but you have a much different approach. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, thanks for saying that, Jason. I appreciate it. But so, you know, my background, here's who we have on the team here. We've got a lot of broken kids, right? Kids that have been other places that won another chance, kids that were here that didn't have much success. And, you know, we coach, you know, not all, but the majority of our team are kids that came up the tough way. And that's kind of how I came up. And I was a knucklehead. You know, I was in 8 schools before the 11th grade. I was in so much trouble. I was just a really unmanageable kid. And then God did something in my life where he reclaimed me and gave me a chance to, a miracle really, to go to one of the best schools and be around one of the best mentors of young kids. And it changed my life. And so I feel like I owe. And this really is not about football for me. It's about ministry. And we call it building men for others. And I like to tie it in this way. And this I've learned really from talking to you, is that, you know, I've never been a head coach in college before. And here I am, a head coach at the University of North Carolina, Charlotte, which is a state school. It's in the state system. So, you know, the taxpayers fund these schools. And ultimately, my responsibility, I feel like as a head coach, is to help produce people who will be additive, quality people in the community, which is paying for them. And so, you know, to put back into the community where the people that are writing the checks through their taxes for these schools, somebody that's productive, somebody that you want to live next to, somebody that's going to coach your kids in Little League, somebody that's going to be a good husband and a good man, somebody that's going to start a business and create jobs, those kind of things, be a public servant. So that's how I look at it, and I feel a responsibility for it. I really do.
Well, that's huge, and to understand the gravity of where you're at and the impact that you can have on the lives of these young men, and to your point, that you know, well past football, games will be won and games will be lost, and you know, you always want to strive to be the best team on the field, but it's really what happens after you leave the field, where
60,
you know, till you get your investment back, right? And if you invest a lot,
right,
you can expect a lot. And talking to your players who have such a, you know, just loyalty to you and affection for you, and some have been with you in Maryland in high school football, and some have come from the portal, and we'll talk about the portal in a minute, but it is amazing to see just the respect that they have for you. Coach, we're going to have to take a break. I don't know if you can come back for one more segment. If you can, that'd be great. If you can't, totally understand.
I would love to.
Well, you're listening to All Things Saine. We're glad to have Coach Biff Poggi of the UNC Charlotte Football 49ers on with us today. We'll be back in a moment after the break. We'll catch up a little bit more with Coach and preview a little bit more of the season and talk about some big things that are happening at UNC Charlotte.
There's more All Things Saine with MC Representative Jason Saine on the way from the new 105.9 100.7
until we get back from break,
WSIC.
but if he talks
Here is your
right now,
WSIC community calendar.
you guys can hear
Asheville
him over
native
Facebook.
Kanan Cox is performing Friday,
Okay.
August
We'll just wait
25th
till
at
after. Coach,
Kane
if you
Center
just
for
wanna
the Arts.
wait 'cause they
Get
can't
your
hear us,
tickets while they last.
We'll come back and
Show starts
talk
at
a little
8
bit more, and
p.m.
then take
Visit
it in the break, if that's okay.
canearts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. Want to showcase your music skills? Richard's Coffee Shop and Military Museum in downtown Mooresville has their music jam sessions every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to noon. Richard's Coffee Shop, located in downtown Mooresville. For more info, visit welcomevets.com. Ever dreamed of seeing Freddie Mercury and Queen live? Absolute Queen, a Queen tribute, will be playing at Boatyard Eats in Cornelius Friday, August 18th. Tickets are $20 online. Enjoy live music and at a fun venue. Absolute Queen, Friday night at Boatyard Eats in Cornelius. To buy tickets, visit boatyardlkn.com. Ever wonder what Mooresville was like in 1873? The historic downtown walking tour is a self-guided tour that will take you on a stroll through Mooresville's past to learn about the history of the town. Featuring 18 stops, the tour begins and ends at the corner of Main Street and Center Avenue. It should take 1 hour to complete. For more info, visit downtownmooresville.com. What would it be like to play glow stick bingo? Come check out the Bingo Glow Party at the Statesville Civic Center. Tuesday, August 22nd, doors open at 6 p.m. All games will be played under blacklight. Glow stick bingo at the Statesville Civic Center. For more info, visit civiccenter.statesvillenc.net. Have an event you'd like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
I'm Holly Vale with your WSIC forecast. Mostly sunny today with a high near 86. Partly cloudy this evening with a low around 66. Thursday looks sunny with a high near 88. And Thursday night looks mostly clear with a low around 66.
About 30 seconds.
Friday will be sunny with a high near 88. And mostly clear for Friday night with a low around 65. Sunny for Saturday and 87 degrees. I'm Holly Vale from WSIC's Weather Center.
Have your say.
Trusting the government
10 seconds.
anything as a joke.
Be a part of the conversation.
We can't even trust the banks with our money.
This is WSIC News Talk Now.
And welcome back to All Things Saine. I'm your host, Representative Jason Saine, here on WSIC. We're broadcasting today from the Legislative Building here in Raleigh. We're here in town for some veto overrides. The governor has been busy using his pen to tell us he didn't like the bills that we had passed with majorities, super majorities, that will come back this evening or this afternoon and override those vetoes. There's 5 on our calendar today, so that's exciting buzz in the political world of Raleigh. But we're talking football, specifically UNC Charlotte, 49er football. My school, my younger sister's school, my wife's school, my brother-in-law's school, we're huge 49er fans, and we are huge fans of head coach Biff Poggi, who joins us on the show today. Coach, welcome back, and thanks for being on.
Jason, always great to be with you. Always great to talk to you.
Well, we're looking at the season. We're getting excited. We've got a home opener on September 2nd. You know, this program is 10 years old, so it's pretty young for a football program. So you get it at a place where, you know, when I was a student at UNC Charlotte, that side of campus where the stadium is, and it's a beautiful stadium that really everything around it's all, you know, pretty shiny and new because the school has grown so much. When I was there, it was about 16,000 students back in 1995 when I graduated, and now I think the campus is somewhere close to 30,000 kids who are enrolled there at UNC Charlotte. But particularly, we've got some great football players. And you kind of preview, you were able to do a lot with the portal and recruiting and going out and getting what I think will be a very successful team and certainly some fine young men. How did you do that, Coach? Because I think you're one of the most active coaches who were able to use that portal in a very positive way.
Yeah, it's a good question. So, Jason, many people don't like the portal, and they say, kids shouldn't be able to transfer and all that kind of stuff. And my feeling is, well, coaches can leave, right? So I can leave, or assistant coach can leave and go to another place, and he doesn't have to sit out a year. Why should a kid sit out a year? So when we got down here, we went through spring. We looked at the roster, and they are all really nice kids on the football team here from last year. I mean, all really, really nice kids. But some of them were just not good enough to play at the level we're going to be playing at, which is in the American Conference, which really there's Power 6. There's no such thing as Power 5 anymore. It may actually turn into Power 3. We had to upgrade the roster, and we did. We brought in 52 in the portal, and our portal recruiting class was ranked second in the nation behind Colorado. And we're very happy with the players we brought in. We brought in players from the University of Michigan, from Ole Miss, from Maryland, from Illinois, from North Chapel Hill, South Carolina. The list goes on and on. And as I said to you before, these are kids that something didn't work out for them the last place they were, or you don't get in the portal. And then when you tell the story of Charlotte, it's very attractive to kids. So, you tell the story. First of all, this is around 30,000 students. It is an unbelievable school academically. And I'll be very frank with you. I was surprised when I got here, and I found out how strong the undergraduate programs were. And the graduate programs are incredibly strong. And the way I know that, you might say, well, you're a football coach. What do you know about that? Well, here's the ultimate way I think you gauge how good a school is, and that is, do their graduates get hired? And our graduates get hired because we teach things here like informatics and computer sciences and mathematics and engineering. These are all things that people need, and they need in a huge way. And so our graduates get hired in really good jobs. And when you tell that story and you pair it with the story of what Charlotte is as a city, number one banking city in the country, Fortune 500 and 1,000 companies moving here in droves, so much opportunity, so much growth, so exciting here. What we're trying to do on the football field with a young program, kids just fall in love with it. So actually it was easy, and I know it sounds ridiculous, but it was an easy recruit here.
Well, that's right. And the way you described it, it is an incredible university. I mean, obviously I'm biased because I'm a product of it, but you've got a great chancellor who's leading. Sharon Gaber has done a great job. She came in during the pandemic, not the ideal situation. You want to take the new job, but it's a great school. We had a long-serving chancellor. Really, the last several chancellors have been long-serving, so there's not a lot of changeover in the way that they do business. The chancellors and the academic folks that are there really have always been focused on getting, to your point, that product at the end, which is employable human beings who can then come back and contribute to society. And so you see that's attractive to because we got to remember, these are football players, but they're also students, and they realize too that life's not always going to be football. Great if you go on to the NFL and you get to make a lot of money, but even if you do make a lot of money, you got to have some brains behind it to be able to keep that money from a personal perspective. Or if you do something entirely different than football after you play, and so that in and of itself, I think, important as a recruiting tool. To your point, and to know that as you talk to them, as they realize they'll have a coach that really invest in them personally, I think is also just speaks well to you, to the university, and to those kids on the football field. I know they're going to start filling up the stands. That's going to be a new sensation on campus there. We've had some good student participation in the past. Let's not knock what they've done before, but I think I heard the other day that you got Navy on my birthday, actually. So that's my birthday game, October 14th. And that's last I saw, there weren't many tickets left for the stadium.
I think that game might be close to being sold out, and I would expect that the first two will be really hard tickets to get to, simply because there's a lot of buzz around the program, and and we're look, nobody expects anything from us really. I think the consensus is we'll win 2 games. We don't have that in our minds, and so our kids are working really hard. And it takes a village, right? You just don't come in as a football coach and bring in 10 new guys and as your staff members and recruit and have it all happen. You have to have a university behind you, and you have to have the leadership behind you. And you mentioned Sharon Gaber, and she's been at places that have won. She understands the importance of sports to a university, especially football, kind of being the front porch of a university, many people call it. And she was at Nebraska for 2 national championships. She was at Auburn for a shared championship. She was at Arkansas, and she's been incredibly supportive. And so you have to have, and I'll tell you something, the faculty's been incredibly supportive. I mean, the dean of the engineering school just walked into my office one day and just sat down and talked. I mean, it was just really incredible. And so, I mean, it takes everybody, and I think we've got a shot to really build something special here.
Well, I know you do, and the excitement is just continuing to build. I've talked to say kids that I was in school with. They're adults now, but when we were kids, there just wasn't a lot of sense of community on the campus because one, we didn't have a football team that kept people in and around campus on the weekends. It's grown so much that culture has changed a lot. Certainly, adding football to it has been a big part of that. But now you've got alum who are out who haven't been on campus really, and since we had football, calling me going, "Hey, I've never been to a football game at Charlotte, but I'm hearing a lot about this team and this coach, and I'm going to go this year." So I think that is going to continue to build, and that buzz around the campus is really important because it's an economic driver too for our area, and as Charlotte in its own right has a real college football mentality as that builds, as it like some of the other big college football towns that people follow. When you talk about going to Gainesville or talk about going to Maryland or I've been playing tailgates in Chapel Hill or at NC State here in Raleigh. That will build too, and that excitement just continues to build, and the buzz continues to build. And I want to wish you all the success in the world because I know you're working hard for it, and you've got a lot of coaches that are working with you that you've brought in your team, and they're pretty spectacular too. I've had the opportunity to meet some of them and watch them on the field as they coach, and they have certainly adopted the Biff Poggi way of really ministering to these kids, not just on the football field but outside of it. I think that is to your credit as well. You've got a great team from management, from coaching to the kids that are playing ball.
Yeah, we've got great young coaches. I'm an old guy, but
60.
I hired 63, and hired a bunch of really fantastic young guys, most of whom I've worked with at Michigan or in some capacity, and they are really sharp. They work really hard. The kids really love them, and they love the kids back. And so there's an infrastructure here that we're building that will last well past me being here, and that's kind of what
30.
we want to bring to this school.
I think
that's what we're looking for.
Well, that is a great mission, and I'm looking forward to being a part of it. I know our son Jackson, Catherine and I are the alum, but he is a future 49er, and he has been just ecstatic about
10.
He's ready to go, man. He's ready to play. So you need to watch him over the next couple of years. But Coach, it's been great having you on. We're running out of time, unfortunately. I'd love to have you back on in a couple of weeks. We'll We'll see how the season's going. I want to wish you all the success in the world, to you, to those players, to your coaching staff. Just the best wishes for you. We're going to be a part of this 49er football culture that's really building, and very excited to be a part of it.
I'm so thankful to be on, and thank you for all your help and support. And go get 5 wins today.
We'll do it. Take care. Thanks for listening to All Things Saine. Coach Biff Poggi, great to have you on the show. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate you tuning in. We'll be back next week, hopefully in studio, but we'll find out. We'll certainly be on. Thank you.
Awesome job, Representative Saine.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate that.
Yep. Well done. Power group.
Thanks. See
Yeah.
you soon.
You have a good week. I'll see you next week, all right?
All right. Thank you.
Bye.